Welcome everyone to this Tidbits video where we're talking about the different steering methods one can use for making left and right turns. Now, when it comes to the steering used to make a turn, there's basically two methods that are acceptable. There's one called hand-over-hand steering and the other is called push steering. Now, I'm about to go ahead and explain how to do both of these methods, and then I suggest that you give both a good solid try and see which one you like best. And we'll start by breaking down the steps of hand-over-hand steering. Now, the most important part is that you start with your hands at the 10 and 2 position, and then whatever direction you're turning, you start to steer from the opposite direction. So in this example, I'm making a left turn, so I'm going to grab at the 2 o'clock position on the right side of the steering wheel. And here's a quick video clip to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's talk about doing hand-over-hand steering. Now, to practice your hand-over-hand, what you want to do is just loosen your grip off of the steering wheel so that it's just hovering above it, and your hands are at 10 and 2. So, we're going to make a left turn. So the first thing I do is grab at 2 and I pull over to 10. Then I bring my left hand over, grab at 2, pull to 10. Then I start over, grab 2, pull, grab 2, pull, grab 2, pull. Alrighty, so it's just that easy. Now, to practice this, you can either sit in your vehicle with it turned off and use the air steering method that I just explained, or you can do this in your own home. You can put your hands in the air like you're holding an imaginary steering wheel and practice that way. This way, if the car's not home, you can still be practicing. And when you want to practice making right turns, well then just do it from the opposite direction, but this time you're grabbing from the 10 o'clock position. Okay, now let's start breaking down the steps for push steering. So when I'm using the push steering method to make my left turn, I'm still grabbing from the opposite direction, which means I'm working on the right side of the steering wheel, grabbing down below at the 4 o'clock position and pushing up to the 2 o'clock position. Now, having said that, with push steering, it's a little harder to be precise than when you're using the hand-over-hand steering method. So don't get down on yourself if you end up around 1 o'clock instead of 2, or you grab around 5 instead of 4. 'Cause, as they say, it'll all work out in the wash. And always remember, before you bring your right hand back down to the 4 o'clock position, you'll need to steady the steering wheel on the left side around the 9 or 10 o'clock position, while your right hand heads back down to 4 o'clock to start all over again. And here's another quick video clip to show you what I'm talking about. Now, here's a demonstration for push steering. So when I'm going to steer using the push steering method, if I'm making a left turn, I'm going to grab down here around the 4 o'clock position, and I'm just going to pull the steering wheel up to around the 2 o'clock position, and then I hold on over here at the left just to steady my steering wheel while I come back down to 4 and pull back up to 2. Then steady the steering wheel, come down to 4, pull up to 2. And you're not going to need to do too many of these to actually make the turn. And that's it. And just like the hand-over-hand steering method, just keep practicing either in or out of the vehicle. And when you want to practice making right turns, well, then you just do it from the opposite direction, starting from the 8 o'clock and pulling up to around 10 o'clock. Okay, now let's hit the streets and use these methods in real-life driving. And in this first example, I'm using the hand-over-hand steering method to make a left turn. Okay, now a left turn at the stop sign. Okay, so I'm going to start from the 2 o'clock position, over to 10, grab 2, pull to 10, and then I'm just slowly releasing the pressure and the steering wheel comes back on its own. Let's do another. Okay, now let's move on to right turns without needing to stop first. And I happen to have two great examples, so I might as well show you both. Now, try to pay attention to how many times I need to pull the steering wheel from 10 over to 2, and how I end the turn by releasing some pressure off of the steering wheel to help get the wheels back, heading off again in a nice straight line. Okay, so I'm going to make a right turn using the hand over hand method, so I don't have to stop. Now my hand's at 10, so I'm going to pull over to 2, grab 10, pull to 2, and that should be enough. Then release a tiny bit of pressure, and the steering wheel comes back on its own. Okay, so I'm going to make a right turn. Now there's no stop sign, so I'm just going to slow my speed. It's clear to go, so grab from 10, pull to 2, grab 10, pull to 2. Loosen my grip a slight bit, and the wheel comes back on its own. Now in this next example, I'm still making a right turn using the hand over hand method, but this time I do need to stop first. Now I'd like you to take note of the small amount of steering that I do as I move forward to be able to see better. I start to steer at that point so that I don't mess up my turning point. And then once I believe that it's safe to go, I'll just continue steering from there. Let's do another right turn. Got to do my stop first, and then I'm going to just move up forward a bit. Got to wait for this car. Okay, everything is good. Pulling from 10 over to 2, 10 to 2, and that should be enough. Then release a bit of pressure, and I'm on my way. Now soon I'll be posting another Tidbits video, 3-3A, tucking in for right turns, keeping pedestrians safe, which explains why things are done in a certain way and in a certain order for maximum pedestrian safety. So this might be a good time to hit that notification button so you can check it out right away, because it has some really important information. Okay, now let's move on to push steering. So I will show you two examples in a row. In the first example, I had to stop first before making my left turn, and in the second example, I did not need to stop. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to make a left turn doing the push steering method. So I bring my hands down, and I've got to wait for traffic. So my hand is at the 4 o'clock position and around the 7 o'clock position. So I start my turn, bring up, hold, bring up, hold. And then I just loosen my grip a bit and let the steering wheel come back on its own. So as you can see, it really only took about 2 to 3 pushes up to make my turn. Now I'm going to make a left turn, again using the push steering. Okay, so this time I'm pulling up on the right side of the steering wheel. So push up, hold, and that's it. Tiny bit of pressure off, and we finished our turn. Okay, that's perfect. And in this last example, I will make a right turn using push steering without needing to stop first. Okay, so I'm making a right turn. I don't need to stop. So I'm just going to push up a bit, hold, push up, hold, push up, and then release some pressure. Okay, that brings us to the end of this lesson on steering. So if you found this information helpful, I just ask that you please press that like button. And subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And then next Tuesday, come on back and check out our video on making right turns. So I'll say goodbye for now, and as always, take care.